Welcome back to the iRacing British Touring Car Championship here from Road America. This is round 12 live on BSR TV with me, Chris Cohen, joined by Marcus Naris once again. Marcus, can it get more exciting than that in the final round?
I certainly hope not, because I don't think I'll make it to the end of the third race if it does. I was struggling at the end of that second race, and yeah, I think we've proven beyond a reasonable doubt tonight that anything can happen, and trying to make any predictions as to how a race is going to turn out is futile in the extreme.
And Scott, that's 2 wins for Jamie Rushworth now. So Scott Woodward, can Jamie Rushworth take all 3?
Saying looks as if he's got a great chance, possibly. I think that if he can keep himself out of trouble like he did for race 2, there's a definite possibility that he could capitalise. You have to remember that he was at the back of that 7-car train, there or thereabouts, going into that last lap, of course, when the incident occurred. But of course, it meant that he was in the optimal position to, as he did, stand on the brakes and keep himself out of trouble. So, and ultimately come out on top in the end. So, if something similar to that happens again, of course, it will be quite exciting if it does. But if he can just make the most of the space he's got around him, he'll be able to really capitalise and possibly could take all 3. It'd be fantastic if he did. But of course, wouldn't be the end of the world if he didn't, because of course it gives someone else a chance to get top scores.
And we are a little bit late this evening, so apologies for the delay in the broadcast. That's because there was an iRacing technical problem, as usual. That's getting to be quite a common phrase these days, which is a shame. But there was a technical problem with the first race, which meant that it had to be red flagged and started again. So that's the reason we lost about 10 minutes. The scores are up on your screen as of the start of this meeting. They haven't been updated from the last 2 races yet. But Chepelevsky won't have scored very well in the last race, Marcus.
No, unfortunately not. And you know, as you say, it's not the first mistake he's made, but he's not the first, and he's certainly not the last person to think a race is over before its time. Yeah, it's probably one of those things he'll want to forget, to be honest with you, but you know, life goes on.
It certainly does, and we've got another race. Another 8-lap race from Road America, about another 20 minutes of racing here for you on BSR TV. Just quickly time to tell you that the next time you'll be able to see BSR TV live in action is Monday. This next Monday we'll be going over to the Skip Barber series, and that's going to be round 5, which will be live from 8:40 in the evening UK time. I'll let you do the conversion for wherever you are. You're big boys, I'm sure you can manage it, or girls, I'm sure you can manage that. And then Wednesday we'll be back with the Carrera Cup, so even more action from the likes of Diego Comuni and Luigi Nespolino, Ben Tusting, all of those guys back in action on Wednesday, and I'm sure we'll be joined by Scott and Marcus for that one as well, will we?
Absolutely, should be.
Yep, I've got nowhere better to be.
Thanks, Marcus. Always a kind word for us here on BSR TV. But we're ready to go down to the grid in about half a minute's time. Now, the grid is going to be rather interesting. No Chepelevsky, because he didn't make it. He finished the race a lap early of his own accord, so he is right at the back. Interestingly, Nick McCarron is going to be on pole position. Smolensky second. The second row is going to be Brewster and Hoog, and then Baker and Christian Rose, then Burleson and former champion Andreas Katz, and then row 5 will be Simon Field and Jamie Rushworth. And Marcus, you have to feel like Simon Field is quite lucky to avoid not finishing further down the field as a result of that start-finish line crash on the final lap.
Yeah, but we saw a lot of it in that race. There were, you know, the first 2 races, in fact, there's been lots of incidents and lots of accidents, and to be fair, with, you know, the odd exception, there hasn't been you know, a huge punishment for those incidents. You know, I think that start-finish line crash was the only one really where we've seen people punished as a result of an accident.
It was bound to happen sooner or later though, Scott. We kept saying, didn't we?
Yeah, when the pack has always been very close at the front. It was exactly the same as it was last night with the Carrera Cups, as I mentioned earlier on in the other 2 broadcasts, is that these guys are also tightly packed. The top 10 is so tightly packed together for the most part that effectively, if someone makes just one wrong judgment, it can just go badly wrong for everyone else around.
And we're ready to go racing here. Round 12 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship, live from Road America, is underway as Nick McCarron, AAA Engineering, leads the field away. There's over 30 cars that are going to make it right on the one of the Triple Eights in the background is into the wall already. They're looking to go 3 wide in some places. I'm not sure how wide how wise that's going to be, as the Movie Go boys are up to no good already. Smolensky round the outside. It's gone off. It's gone onto the gravel, and we've got a spinning CQR. It's one of the Fusion cars. Chepalewski looking to make his way through the field as quickly as possible. It looks like Nick McCarron holds the lead for now, Marcus.
Yeah, he's drawing on his significant experience, you know, to make sure that he's got himself away cleanly there, and he won't want to get involved in any funny business.
And
I'll say something quickly, guys. Sorry, just to
go ahead.
Interrupt. And unfortunately, he went round a little trying to. Oh, there's a spinner in the middle of the field. That's one of the Welsh cars, and there's a huge pile up down towards turn 4. Oh, got a car in the air as well. A huge pile up near the back of the field. Several cars involved. I couldn't exactly see who got involved in that one. There's 3-4 cars off in the gravel. One of the Addison Lee cars is stationary. It's absolute carnage down towards turn 4.
Yeah, well, we just saw that as well on the cameras. So let's go back and see if we can get a quick replay of that one, because that was massive, wasn't it?
We've definitely lost Fag in that incident. Robin W. Smith as well.
Well, one of the Welsh Motorsport cars has got out of shape. That's not Richard Wilde, is it? Surely. There's cars all over the place trying to avoid him. Robert Fag has nowhere to go and just collects the door of that Welsh Motorsport car. The Movie Go car's already spinning. Fag's come to a stop and then gets collected once again, which sends him up in the air. The Movie Go car colliding with the Airwaves car, you can see there, and it's just all hell breaking loose. And that goes to show, one tiny little mistake like that from one driver causes that much carnage on the first lap, and that's put a lot of drivers out of the race.
Yeah, and it's really bunched that midfield pack up as well. If you look at that, the pack from kind of 13th, 14th down, they're really, really close, and they're going to need to be careful or we'll have further incidents.
Well, Linus Broström is up to 4th position now, but he's being challenged by Stefan Hug, who's just behind. Katz is up to 7th at the moment, and Rushworth is still in his grid position of 10th. But he won't mind too much, because he's had 2 victories already. He doesn't want to hog them all, and his teammate Broström is up in 4th. And you're right, the midfield pack is very close together right now. We lost Robert Fag, though. That's going to be big for his championship hopes. Chepalewski currently up to 26, but in the pits, so Chepalewski must have got caught up in that incident. That's big, Marcus.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see, you know, as you say, the drivers are profiting, you know, as much as they can do. We've got some quick guys who are going to struggle. Some of the guys we thought might come through from midfield aren't going to, so it's a great opportunity for drivers like McCarron and Broström in 4th to get a good result.
Tim Mawson down the inside of Brad Selms. It's not going to make that one work. Selms hold on to the position in the Airwaves racing machine. Tim Mawson, kind of a mid-pack runner, done quite well for himself so far in this meet, and that is Nils Jordan just up in front. And Nils Jordan never seems to have any luck in a touring car championship. I know he races the V8s as well, and does significantly better there. Just doesn't seem to get on with the front wheel, or doesn't have the luck for it. But running in 20th at the moment. Critchley, who we saw a lot of in the second race, is just ahead of him. But once again, Dan Hunt and Robert Burton are fighting it out. This is for 17th place this time. Burton right on the tail. I thought Burton had gone onto the grass there, but that little bit of curbing sticking out there has just saved Robert Burton, and they're still side by side as they come into the carousel. Dan Hunt's down the inside. Burton's got the better speed on entry. Might not mean anything, but don't forget there's that bend section, Marcus, that's going to come into play on the exit here.
Yeah, and it certainly came into play on the last lap. We lost Ashley Sutton in an incident in the bend in lap 1. 3 or 4 cars got together. Vittorio Saltalamacchia was involved. Sutton certainly was involved, and it's put him. He started quite far down the field. It's put him even further back now.
Well, Stefan Hug has got past, and apologies for not being able to show you that. We haven't got a replay of that one for you with Sutton. But Hug has got past Broström, so Broström's down to 5th with Baker just behind him. And Hug should pull away now. You've got to feel like he's the faster driver, Scott.
Yeah, as you're watching that, I was just watching, I think it might be Robert knows, one of the guys behind it, I think might be Stephen Hepburn and Matthew Webb, was battling along with, I think it must have been Matthew Webb, because he got very sideways, almost kind of drift style through Canada Corner, and that allowed Jamie Rushworth up another place, but of course he's now also relinquished the place, I think, to Simon Field as well. Yes, he has. Simon Field back down in 12th spot. So Matthew Webb down to 13th. So there's a bit more scrapping going on just in front. I see Andreas Katz is holding on to the position ahead of Adam Terry as they head into turn 1 again for the first time. And
Baker's right behind Brewstrom as well. And side by side, just up in front, Christian Rose, who we haven't talked about much, but he's holding on to 4th place here. And Hoog, well, ooh, that's very close. Hoog slipped past Rose into 3rd, and Rose wants that position back in the green CQR machine. It's all going on here, side by side. Oh, Hoog's cut him off. Hoog's turned him round, and they've both collided with each other. And this is what can happen. Hoog and Rose came together there. Maybe one of you guys saw that a little bit better. It was kind of in the corner of my eye there. I'm not really sure what happened there. Here's a view from the nose of Christian Rose's car, and
yeah, it looks like he's not accounted for Hoog moving across in front of him to take that defensive line, and while trying to avoid him, Christian Rose, as you say, he's just got on the grass there, out of control, and after that, all bets are off.
Well, let's have one more look at that from the chopper. Hoog really moved over. For me, I mean, that's a bizarre thing to do. Hoog took the outside line. It's almost like he then saw that Rose was right behind him and then went back to the inside, which you know you obviously can't do. We have no pictures. Sorry about that. But let's go back to the racing now. Smolensky leads from McCarran, so apologies, we've missed that one as well. But McCarran has got Brewstrom right behind him now, and Baker behind him. So we've lost 2 of the front runners there, Marcus. That's helping everybody else out, really.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for some of the guys who are in this fight at the front. You know, we've lost Chepelevsky, we've lost Sutton. Terry's only running in 9th, so there's a real chance here for some people to make some big points.
Well, on board now with Linus Brewstrom. He is surely going to have a go at McCarran down the start-finish straight. McCarran shows him to the outside, shows his race experience there, but it looks like Brewstrom's going to get the position anyway. And also, well, Baker's going to have a piece of this action. There's too many to get through that corner, guys. Baker around the outside. McCarran wants to hold on to it. They're still side by side at the moment. McCarran's got the inside line, should hold it here, but that's Katz right behind them. Don't rule out Katz, and they're still side by side. What do you make of this, Scott?
It's incredible action as they head out of turn 2. And I'm watching Burleson now, as I'm watching this happening now as Katz tries to get himself. Oh, contact into the bridge, and that was between McCarran and Baker down the back straight. And oh dear, I think Baker just wanted to go side by side a little too much, and maybe similar instance to what we saw with Hug and when Hug moved across, and that just means that he's been turned around. I think that Baker's managed to keep going, but he's now behind Jamie Rushworth, so he must be roughly about 8th place or so. But that was quite a hot-stopping moment. Of course, you know, Baker would have found himself going in a straight line, all of a sudden moving across, then suddenly finding his Speedworks car turning a complete 180 towards the bridge.
Well, I mean, you've got to say again, these guys just need to give themselves more room. I know you want to defend your position, but that's not the way to do it, surely, Marcus.
No, certainly on a draft track like this, you know, you need to be able to appreciate that, you know, sometimes the car behind you is going to get a run on you, he's going to get past you, he's going to get a prime position to make a move, and sometimes you've just got to let that happen, regroup, gather yourself up, and work out how you're going to get past him on the next lap. Some of the defensive moves we're seeing are a little bit on the extreme side.
Nils Jordan trying to get the position from Robert Burton. Burton is just behind Dan Hunt, so Dan Hunt winning the battle in this particular race. These guys have been at it most of the evening, but Nils Jordan up to 16th now. Could take 2 more places as well. That's not the only battle going on the track at the moment. Adam Terry, oh, it's 3 wide. Oh, Adam Terry with Jamie Rushworth. Jamie Rushworth slipped through to 5th position there, and Terry's been mugged. McCarran has really been mugged down to 7th there, and he's got Hoog to contend with now as they come into the final corner. Hoog's got the inside line here. McCarran's going to hold on to it, I think.
Brewstrom and Katz side by side going up the start-finish straight, and Craig Burleson, I think, is going to be in prime position here. He's got a draft behind Katz, and I think Brewstrom could be in a spot of bother here.
Well, Brewstrom's got the outside. He has a slight advantage, and that's his teammate Rushworth just coming in behind. This is for 2nd place. Andreas Katz holds it down the inside. Oh, Brewster's gone wide. That's going to allow Burleson down the inside into turn 2, and Rushworth's just going to... Well, Rushworth backs off. Doesn't want to get involved with his teammate. Very wise. Burleson takes the position, so Bruce... Oh, he's... No! No, more contact! Not more that... Burleson's been taken out there, surely.
Yeah, he's... I'm not sure what happened without being able to look at it in detail, but certainly there was contact, and certainly Burleson got turned round. You know, and now unfortunately it's put him a long way down, but what it has done is promoted Jamie Rushworth, winner of the first 2 races, to 3rd place. And
do you know what I think it is? I think it's it looks like Brewstrom was just holding his line on the edge of the track, and well, they didn't. It's another case of 2 cars not giving each other enough room. I don't think we can say more than that. And it always seems, doesn't it, Marcus, that one of the cars seems to be all right, and the other one has big damage. Oh, and then one of the dyno jets is off. I have no idea who that is. That's Eckhart von Glan. Oh, it's such a shame for von Glan. Sorry, Marcus, do go on.
Yeah, it's difficult in these cars. I mean, people always say when these things are on the limit and they're cornering hard, you could literally push them around with one finger. And I think if you're the car that gets hit, unfortunately, you tend to come off worse. And generally, the more aggressive driver, the car behind that gets away with it, and the car in front usually ends up in a barrier somewhere.
Well, that's what we saw with Burleson and Brewstrom. Burleson running very well. Going to be extremely disappointed to be out of the race at this stage. Robert Fagg, by the way, is still running. We saw him in a big accident at the start of the race, and he's now in 31st. So he will score. I mean, it's important to say, even if you come 31st, you still score a significant haul of points for you and your team. So worth staying in, Scott.
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry, I'm having 1 or 2 issues with my connection on the voice front, but I can just hear there's a gap now. So, Cat's now holding on to 2nd place for the moment, at least. But Rushworth is really putting him under pressure at this point, down towards turn 1 once again. The interesting thing is that both Adam Terry and Stefan Hug are right there to capitalise, and they, of course, going to help each other out whenever they can, if anything goes wrong between these two. But we've seen Rushworth, he knows how to back out of trouble, he knows when it's wise not to attack and when it's wise to go and make the pass, and if he can get himself possibly a good enough run off for turn 2, which I think he possibly has done, this will set him up perfectly for a chance to try and down into turn 4 on lap 6. And you can see now Terry's also thereabouts trying to get himself involved, but Rushworth now going to the outside for 2nd place, going using almost all the track and a lot more. He's going to go down to the outside, using a bit of curbing on the exit as well. A lot of curbing, in fact, and can't get it done. So Cat's holding on to 2nd, but Rushworth definitely giving the hurry up and putting him under a lot of pressure. And now it just remains to be seen just how much of that pressure can Cat sustain with just about 2.5 laps to go.
Well, Cat's last season's champion, so if anyone can, in theory, can maintain any kind of sort of pressure situation, it will be him. But we've seen him make a mistake tonight already. Let's hope we don't see any more. Let's hope we don't see any more drivers taken out at the same time as well. Those 2 Biancos, though, that's what we've seen all season, Marcus, isn't it? Stefan Hug, Adam Terry, just biding their time, just scoring heavily, not winning races, just scoring heavily at the front of the field, picking up as many points as they can for their team.
Yeah, they do try not to get involved in incidents. Obviously, you know, Adam Terry had a bit of a shocker at the end of the last race, but he was fighting for, you know, the win, fighting for primacy. But Hug I've been impressed with all throughout this season. You know, it's his first season in the championship, and as you say, he just seems to keep scoring points. He always gets, at, you know, worst case scenario, a reasonable finish.
We're just watching a battle now between Brad Selms and Laura Bond. That's Matt Walker just behind, and a recovering Ashley Sutton is behind this group as well. Another disappointing result for Ashley Sutton. I mean, we saw him crash out of the last race quite dramatically, and really didn't do that well this time round, Scott. So he's got to turn something around to get higher in the championship. Selms has gone off. Sorry, Selms has just gone off at Canada, so that's let Bond through. Do go on, Scott.
Yeah, sorry. My voice thing was again cutting in and out. Apologies for that. But yeah, I mean, actually, just I don't know what it is. It seems to be that he was just a little bit too overambitious. Of course, it was good that I respect him for the fact that he put his hands up and admitted to the incident at the end of the second race. Because of course, as we said, it really was him moving across when he really didn't need to, and obviously was trying to minimise the gap, but didn't realise just how much just how minimal room there was between Terry and the pit wall. But in race 1, he was up there battling as much as he could. But the thing is that actually, like I said, if he's going to go into a pro racing season in Formula Ford, he has to get these habits out of him as quickly as possible. I'll continue my point in a second, because I'm watching again. Rushworth is once again trying to go to the outside of Andreas Katz for second place, and they both are starting to close on Smoleski, as Rushworth again goes to that outside pass, kind of duplicating what Ashley Sutton did before, and once more Katz holds on. But what's intriguing is that despite the fact that they're battling, we're not battling too much, only really down towards turn 4, but what's intriguing is that Katz is leading this 4-car train, and they're all starting to close up, slowly but surely, on the back of Smolenski. So I wonder possibly if Smolenski's pace is starting to fade up a little bit in these last couple of laps, whether or not Katz is coming good and bringing the 3 cars behind him along for the ride, what could be another explosive final lap.
Oh, and Plumley almost down the inside of McCarron to take 8th place, but can't quite get the job done. Now, it's interesting what you say there, because Smolenski, yeah, these guys are battling. If these guys weren't battling out quite so hard, I think Smolenski could be in trouble. But with 2 laps to go, he'd have to lose a second a lap, and he's only about half a second slower than these guys when they're battling. So, you know, in theory, if these guys could run their fastest times, which is unlikely at the end of a lengthy race like this, then he'd lose 2 seconds a lap. But it could well be another win for Alexander Smolenski, which would be the first time since Charlotte, I think, last season. It's an interesting snippet of info for you. Oh no! That's Simon Field's gone off. Canada corner. He's spun the car around. He's kept it under control, but oh, it looked like he would just cause that by himself. I was just about to get ready to say what a good drive Simon Field had, and seems to have undone it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's easy to do there. He's just put a wheel on the grass in the braking zone. As coming into the final turn, again, Plumley's having a little bit of a look up the inside of Nick McCarron, but he's not going to make that stick.
So Matthew Webb up to 10th position now. Field drops to 9th. So Plumley, after not a great result this evening, is on for his best result in a long while, in 8th place, looking to get round Nick McCarron round the outside. These guys are quite a long way off the pace. Round the outside he goes. McCarron's got to leave him enough room, surely. Yes, he does. That experience just shines through once again, and McCarron holds on to the place. And again, that's an example, isn't it, Scott, of you know, a lesser experienced driver might have kept his foot in there and ended up with a collision.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's good to see that the more experienced drivers know exactly what they need to be doing. As I'm actually watching, I've seen that Smolenski actually. So I'm looking back towards the front. Smolenski using a lot of the outside curb to kind of help kind of almost shoehorn the car into the corner. And I'm not sure what's going on, but Katz really has closed in on this lap. And whether something's wrong with Smolenski, I'm not entirely sure, because Katz really has gotten to within less than a second. He looks like he's closing in corner by corner. So, you know, you said it was possible that Smolenski done enough to hold off. I'm not so sure, because Katz really has got the hammer down, and with about half a lap to go, he's got a real chance of possibly getting the win here. But of course, as we know in motorsport, catching's one thing, passing is a whole different story.
And it's down to 0.8 of a second at the moment, but that's not going to be enough. I don't think that's going to be enough, unless there's a mistake from Smolenski. It's not coming down, but down to 0.7, 0.6. It's difficult to say in the corners, but well, Smolenski needs to hold on to this if he wants this race win under his belt, but Katz will not let him have it if he's got his say. It's down to half a second now. This could come down to the wire, Marcus.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to explain where that pace has gone, certainly out of Alexander Smolenski's race. Katz doesn't appear to be going any quicker, but he's now right on the tail of Smolenski, and it's going to be a drag race through that last bend and up the start-finish straight to decide this race.
So only one corner to go now. Looks like it could well go to Smolenski. Katz is going to line up the eBay Motors car for a good exit from the final corner. Has he done enough? The answer is no. This one's going to go to Smolenski. Just about. Whoa, by the narrowest of margins, Smolenski takes it. Rushworth comes home third in the end. So 2 wins and a third. Fantastic for Rushworth. Terry comes home 4th and Hoog 5th, so that's important because they're both Bianco cars. Brewster over the line 6th, and 7th goes to Nick McCarron. What happened to Plumley? Plumley's down to 13th, so Blaine...
Yeah, he's had a problem on the last lap. I was just starting to look at that, and it looks like it's gone wrong for him down in Canada corner. It looks like there was an incident there, and he's back in 13th.
Well, shame for Robert Plumley, because that would have been a really good result. Well, it still was a good result, but could have been a lot better result for him. But never mind about that. Let's get some results up on your screen. Well, fascinating race once again. Couldn't quite top the action from race 2, but still, I'm very much out of breath. How about you, Scott?
I definitely have to agree. There was a lot of fantastic racecraft in race 3, but still, I think one of the points I was talking about is the fact that there are some drivers out there who don't seem to have a little thing called spatial awareness. I mean, that incident between with Craig Burleson and Linus Brewstrom, I'm not quite sure what was going on. I mean, surely if Linus went to the outside, surely there has to be a point where you have to back out and concede the place and the corner. You can't hold to the outside, because effectively, if you've got a car alongside you, the thing you don't do is turn across, because that's just going to spear the car the guy in front deliberately off into the barriers. So, these guys out there, I know the BTCC for real, touring cars is known for their body contact, even though it's supposed to be a non-contact sport, but these guys have to kind of use their heads here and not actually cause incidents like that. And I think that there was probably definitely going to be a look at some of those incidents, and maybe possibly a refinement and a kind of a reinforcement of the regulations, saying, look guys, we're all sensible out there on track. We can't be going out there and taking each other out deliberately with super silly moves like this. And I think that hopefully these guys will realise that by the time we get to the next round.
Well, one man who did keep his head in that last race and throughout the evening was none other than Adam Terry, who joins us now. Hi, Adam.
Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Very well, and thoroughly entertained, I've got to say. All three of us are after that, and hopefully the viewers are as well. But another strong performance in the last race. How much did Stefan help you out in that last race to get where you got to?
I only really saw him in my mirrors, mate, so didn't help me out that much at all.
Well, we've seen that throughout the season, you two kind of benefiting from each other, holding people off, making passes together, that kind of thing. Has it made a big difference to have someone of his kind of pace to work with?
Yeah, of course. He's probably got a couple of tenths on me in qualifying, and like I said to you last time, I think qualifying is my weakness, but this time, with him coming on board, we're trying to move up that grid a little bit, and it has helped my race results.
And you were on top of the championship going into this last round, but Chepolevsky's hot on your heels. And then are you aware that Chepolevsky maybe stopped a lap early in the race 2?
Yeah, I spoke to him after. It was that race 2 was such a shame, because we were having a fantastic battle. I mean, I don't know if you were following it on the broadcast, but there was some great racing at the front, and it's a shame it just had to get spoiled on the start-finish straight.
No, we were broadcasting a completely different race, Adam. We weren't interested at all. No, that was a fantastic race, but obviously it didn't end the way you wanted it to, really. Sutton's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, he's a tough nut to crack, and when I saw him in my mirrors, I knew that he'd want the win, when really, for one place, just 1 point, maybe it's not worth taking a risk. But we've spoke to each other after the race, and I think we've both agreed to disagree, I think.
Well, that's good to hear that the driver atmosphere is at least a bit amiable. But so I take it from that you would happily finish 4th all season long if it won you the season. You're not too fussed about actually winning races or being on the podium.
No, I definitely want to win races, and I want to be on the podium. I really fancied a podium in the one that just gone, but Jamie's had a fantastic night, and fair play to him. But yeah, I'm here to win races. But also, you've got to play sensible sometimes, and if that means coming 4th in most of the races, then so be it.
And let's talk about Jamie Rushworth for a moment. 2 wins and a 3rd place. You must be slightly worried that he might run away with his championship on his kind of performance from tonight.
He really has stepped up in the last couple of weeks, but I'm not particularly worried if I stick to my own pace. And in that second race, I was winning the race until that incident, so I would have finished in front of him there. He's had a bit of luck tonight with at least the second win, but the first win was great, and he's done well to come 3rd in the last race as well.
So moving forwards, you're happy with the team, and you're happy with the way the season's going so far?
Yeah, I'm leading the championship. So I'm absolutely delighted with it. And as a team point of view, I think I don't know if we've extended the lead tonight or maintained it, but we've certainly had a healthy lead coming into this, and long may it continue.
Well, thanks for joining us, Adam.
Yeah, cheers, Chris.
That's Adam Terry for Bianco, and well, you were right, Marcus. When those guys get out on track, you know, all sense of 1 point here and 1 point there goes out of the window. It's all down to I want to win this race.
Yeah, boys with their toys, isn't it? It's easy for me to say that sitting here, but obviously, as you know, you get me in these races, and I'm exactly the same. But a very mature view then from Adam. You know, he knew that to try and do any more, to try and get any more than 4th place in that 3rd race was potentially dangerous. He didn't want to overdrive and throw it off the circuit, and you know, he's happy to take that position, but he'll definitely be fighting for more wins between now and the end of the season. But it does certainly look like, with Chepelewski's misfortune tonight, Jamie Rushworth is his main challenger.
Well, I'd like to say I could tell you and the viewers at home how the point situation stands at the moment, but we can't until the official results are in, just because there's so many points on offer and the numbers are so large that we can't do it in our heads like we could last season. I say like we could last season. We had a good go at it last season anyway. But if you wanted to check out the standings, probably will be tomorrow by the time that they get updated. But if you head to bsrtv.net and click on BTCC, you can use the standings link there to have a look to see how all the drivers are getting on. Clearly, Adam Terry thinks he's still on top. He thinks Bianco are still on top. Not too worried about Jamie Rushworth. Would you share that view if you were Adam Terry, Scott? Well, we've put Scott to sleep with our little chat with Adam Terry there. So
yeah, sorry. Like I said, I don't know what it is. For these past 2 races, my audio connection for whatever reason is kept. It's been 5, 10, 15 seconds or so, and then it starts cutting out for whatever reason, skipping. But apologies for that. No, I think Adam has, for the most part, if we're not counting race 2, kept himself out of trouble. And I think that he's run race 1 and race 3. If you look at on that point, we're fairly consistent and well calculated and well proven races. Race 2 was fine up until a point when he was past Matthew Suss, and then actually decided to turn right straight into him when he realised that he wasn't as far enough in front as he thought he was. But I think Adam can't be too displeased with tonight. I think he's had some decent results, and he should be able to go forwards into the next races next week with some confidence at least. Of course, people like Chepelewski have managed to close in, and other drivers have also shown their worth tonight here at Road America, and I'm pretty sure that he, as well as a lot of drivers in the field, are going to be full of confidence going forwards into next week's events.
Now, last season, Marcus, there were, at this stage of the season, there was going to be one winner, and it was going to be Chepelewski or Katz. It was going to be one of those two, and 3rd and 4th was pretty much going to come down to Simon Field and Richard Wilde. This season has turned everything on its head. Who's going to win this championship?
Crikey, there's a question. Honestly, difficult to say. I think the only thing that's really happened tonight from a championship perspective is that realistically you've got to say, with the race 2 result and the race 3 result, Chepelewski, I think, has got rid of any chance that he had of challenging at the top there. Certainly Adam Terry is going to be there at the end. Jamie Rushworth is strong, but I'm not sure. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for Linus Rostrom between now and the end of the season. I think he's got a fantastic chance at 3rd in the championship, but for me, you can't look beyond Adam Terry or Jamie Rushworth at the moment.
And next week, it'll all be different again, because we're off to Road Atlanta, and that's going to be rounds 13, 14 and 15 in the iRacing British Touring Car Championship. I think Marcus and Scott will both say this evening, along with me as well, that we've been utterly entertained by the driving that was on offer. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's brilliant racing once again.
And hopefully, may it continue next week, and hopefully you're going to join us for those as well. So Thursday, next week, the 6th of March, we'll be at Road Atlanta for another 3 rounds from the iRacing British Touring Car Championship. But until then, from Scott, Marcus, and from me, we'll see you next time.